I've been seeing something really cool happening recently. In a world where we're all constantly being sucked into our phones and being farmed for our attention, people are moving backwards to try and reclaim the way that they spend their time. There's a movement going on right now where people are realizing that the tools that we used to use to engage with our media allow us to get back in touch with a really critical idea: intention. Being able to be deliberate about what you want out of an experience with a piece of art or entertainment. Ever since it was possible to stream music, for example, that level of intentionality on the end of the consumer has decreased. With pre-made for you playlists and endless amounts of music tailored to your interests, why would you ever go back? I want to preface that as a 23-year-old man living in 2024, I grew up with the internet and the internet grew up with me. My generation's development and the development of what is largely known as the third industrial revolution are uniquely intertwined. I remember the first time I ever used Spotify with an Amazon Alexa. I was like, you're telling me that I can talk into this little puck and tell it to play the most obscure song that I know, and it'll be able to play it 70% of the time? That instant gratification and ease of use has allowed big tech companies to hook people into using their softwares, and then over time found ways to keep people online and profit off of your attention. It's the modern addiction that seems to get too much of the wrong kind of attention, and AI is the straw that breaks the camel's back. It seems like there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to AI, and by no means am I an expert, but on a fundamental level, generative AI functions as an in and out box. You get out what you put in. Crash Course AI, if you don't already know, let's say you want a picture of a horse. An AI model will train on tens of thousands of pictures of horses, and it will make you a new picture of a horse based on the information that you fed it. This idea is present across almost all creative industries now. AI can generate photos, music, videos, games, books, voices, likenesses, and the list just keeps getting longer. And again, because AI functions like an in and out box, you get a lot of that AI generated media going back in along with stuff created by people, and you get stuff out like Gordon Ramsay willing spaghetti out of his fingertips. All of that generated content mixed in with stuff that people have spent time, energy, and care creating is bad for our culture, and it's bad for our health as a society. Art and entertainment for humans, by humans, is what keeps our culture alive. And it's your intentions as a human to curate your own library of music, engage with visual arts and museums, support your local theater, spend quality time with your friends and family that allow you to take back how you spend your life and build a personal connection with the people and cultures around you. That's also true in the way that we create. Creating art or entertainment with the intention of narrowing in on our humanity is what's always stood out, especially now that we're submerged in a sea of sensationalized and commercialized content. I was in my hometown of Alexandria, Virginia recently, and I picked up this book at a bookstore, Historic Photos of Alexandria. And as part of my journey in changing how I consume media, I've been fascinated by how the places that we live in and the cultures that surround them have changed over time. And in this book, I see places where I grew alongside the internet in a time where people didn't even know what a computer was. Shout out to the team that put together this book. It is so well researched. It is so interesting, so impressive. I believe it's part of a series, so I'll put the link in the description for this book. But yeah, just super cool. I would definitely check this out in full. But in these pictures, nobody's looking down at their phones. Billboards don't fill empty walls. And when someone looks into the camera, you can feel their innate curiosity for the future to come. Now, I'm not saying I was born in the wrong generation or that my life would have been better off in a time where the average life expectancy was about 40, but I think there's a lot to learn through comparing our cities as expressions of society's good or bad intentions at any given point in time. So I want to do just that. I want to recreate these photographs in a way that objectively shows how our society's intentions have changed. And while there are a number of cities that have changed more or changed more dramatically, I feel like it's important to see what we've kept from our past and how that shapes our present. And Old Town Alexandria acts as a really good balance of honoring our history and also building what's new in and around what used to be. Something that I found that can make it difficult to connect with photographs from the 1800s is camera technology. That old wet plate, grainy, black and white look can sometimes act as a wall to keep us from really focusing on the content of a photograph. And while a solution to leveling that playing field between the past and the present might be to colorize or make something look higher definition, I want to try and take today and make it look like yesterday. Shout out to Expired Film Club for introducing me to one of my new favorite cameras, the Kodak Cartridge No. 4. Originally patented in 1897, this camera, as of 2024, is 127 years old. The one that I bought is in great condition. I've tested it and I'm really happy with how it turned out. This camera and lens specifically is able to create this sort of illusion in time. I use medium format 120 film inside of the camera, which only allows me about 6 shots. So again, to that point of really being intentional about the photographs that you're taking, which also means that this project is going to be slightly expensive. But I'm planning on stretching it out over a good period of time, so that'll be fun. The whole thing is made of wood. The fact that it's standing in the condition that it is a testament to the people that put it together. Still not 100% sure on the film stock that I want to use for this project, so if anybody has any ideas, please feel free to put them in the comments. This is the only camera that I'm going to be using for this project. It's got a fixed lens. I will talk about why in a second. I want to recreate photographs that will fall into the public domain, so I could recreate photos into 1924. The oldest photograph I have is from 1861, which gives me about 63 years to cover. I did not just do that math. I am not that good at math. And while I'd love to find out how all of these photographs were taken and get into wet plate photography and daguerreotypes, I don't have the time and I don't have the budget. But this way I can use a camera that falls roughly in the middle of my 63-year period, so I'm generally covering my bases. I'll also likely touch up contrast and detail to try and get as close as possible to my reference photos without falling into AI territory. I feel like there's so much discovery that I'll go through during this project, and I'm excited to get to know my hometown better. I'll keep posting about this project as I research and photograph, but I want to keep these videos as a record of my process. I hope you walk away from this having learned something. In terms of media consumption, I recently purchased an iPod, which has made my experience with music more intentional and more enjoyable overall. I highly recommend finding ways to get off of Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, even YouTube, and I say that for myself. So, take this as a sign to walk away and go call a friend.